Today, I'm previewing the 2023 Daytona 500. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Later this afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the 65th running of the Daytona 500 is going to take place, and will kick off the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series regular season as well. This is the biggest race of every single NASCAR season, is of course the Daytona 500. It kicks off every year, and I'm really pumped up and really excited. This is also 75th year in NASCAR history and a big year for NASCAR. A lot of major things are planned for this year, and this is a very big year going into 2023. There's a lot of storylines, of course, going into 2023 through this year's Daytona 500. You got a lot of driver changes, of course, happening for this year's Daytona 500. Kyle Busch, of course, joins Rich Schultz Racing for 2023. You have Ty Dillon joins Spire Motorsports into 77. Noah Gragson joins Legacy Motor Club, taking over for Ty Dillon 2023. You have Todd Reddick joining 2311 Racing, replacing Kurt Busch for this season. You've got other major changes happening this year. You've got Zane Smith making his NASCAR Cup Series debut at second running, of course, to be in his debut at Gateway last year, but making his first start with Front Row Motorsports in 2023. Multiple starts he's going to make with the Front Row Motorsports group. You've got Ty Gibbs joining the NASCAR Cup Series. Will be competing in his first Daytona 500 in 2023. And there's a lot of other big changes going into 2023 as well. This will also be the final Daytona 500 for Kevin Harvick, who, of course, will retire at the end of the 2023 season. He's already won the Daytona 500, of course, back in 2007. He looks to win his second Daytona 500 in 2023. And trust me, Kevin Harvick, I think, has got a really good chance to get it done in this year's Daytona 500. But there's also some other major storylines in drivers who are returning to the sport, also making their first ever NASCAR Cup Series starts, and also drivers who were able to make some really shocking moves. Let's talk about the duels real quick. Joey Logano was able to win the duel number 1, and Eric Almirola was also able to win duel number 2. Drivers able to make it in on pace and speed. Jimmy Johnson, of course, is returning to the NASCAR Cup Series in multiple races this year. Will be driving the 84 Legacy Motor Club car, which, of course, he owns that organization. He'll be looking to win his first Daytona 500 since 2013, and, of course, his third Daytona 500. The other driver able to qualify his way in the Daytona 500 was Travis Pastrana, who, of course, joins 2311 Racing in the number 67 car. Travis already gotten quite a bit of experience this week as he ran the Truck Series race earlier this week with Nice Motorsports. I believe finishing 13th. Yes, the races ranged short, but he kept his nose clean and had a very strong run. The two drivers able to race their way into the 2023 Daytona 500 were Zane Smith in duel number 1. Zane Smith, like I've already mentioned, Zane Smith will be attempting to make his NASCAR Cup Series. Well, of course, Zane Smith making his second start. He'll be driving Front Row Motorsports in multiple races throughout the season. He'll be looking to win his first ever Daytona 500, and also will be looking to become the first driver to win the Daytona Truck Race and the Daytona 500 in the same weekend. The other driver that races way into Daytona 500 is IndyCar star Connor Daly, who got in pretty shocking fashion. A lot of people did not expect that we were going to see Connor Daly make this year's Daytona 500, but luckily for him, he will race in this year's Daytona 500. Now let's talk about the front row. The front row, once again, very similar to last year, will be Alex Bowman on the pole and Kyle Larson starting in second. Now, it was the opposite last year, where Kyle Larson started on the pole last year and Alex Bowman started second. Now, this year, both drivers will be opposite of each other, and they will be on the front row, but they kept their front row spots after Alex Bowman kept his nose clean in his duels, and Kyle Larson, who nearly got involved in a wreck, was able to keep his nose clean in the duels. Now let's talk about the drivers who will be very strong, I believe, in this year's Daytona 500. Let's begin with some of the Ford drivers. Joey Logano. Joey Logano won his duel, like I mentioned. It was very fast in his duel and was really fast in the race on Thursday. I expect it to be really quick. Next, Eric Almirola. Eric Almirola looks really strong in the Daytona duels. Has looked really fast all weekend long. The Fords, like I mentioned, have been really quick and really strong. I expect Eric Almirola to be very quick. Next, Austin Cindric. Austin, of course, the defending winner of the Daytona 500. And keep this in mind. So far this week, Zane Smith won the Truck Series race. Then he won in 2022. He won in 2023. Austin Hill won the 2022 Xfinity Series race. He also won it in 2023. So this could be maybe the first time in a long time we've basically had same drivers win all three respective series. Cindric's also been very fast in practice sessions as well. Next, Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney has been very fast. He's looking to win his first Daytona 500. Ryan Blaney's known for being good in the Daytona 500, but he's been come short of winning. He's been really good at super speedways, has won at Daytona in the past. I would absolutely watch out for Ryan Blaney. Next, the two RFK drivers, Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski. They look really solid in the practice session earlier today or yesterday when you're watching this before the Daytona 500. They look pretty solid in their duels. I expect them to be quick. Next, Farmer Motorsports. Farmer Motorsports drivers are Michael McDowell, Zane Smith, and Todd Gillen. They were very, very quick. Showed a lot of great pace and a lot of great speed. I 100% expect them to be threats in this year's Daytona 500. And then, of course, the SHR cars. I think that you're going to see Kevin Harvick be quick. Ryan Preece look pretty solid. Those cars are going to be fast. The Chevys also look really, really good. Kyle Busch, he was very fast in his duel, was probably the best Chevy we saw so far this weekend. I think Kyle Busch, despite having a backup car and starting in the back, he will be a threat for sure for the 500 because he feels very confident. Jimmy Johnson, he qualified his way in, looked really good in his duel, was fast in practice on Friday. I think Jimmy Johnson at 84 team feel really, really confident for this year's Daytona 500. And, of course, all the Hendrick Chevys looked also pretty good. Finally, let's transition over to Toyotas. I think Bubba Wallace was really fast, and Denny Hamlin also was fast. I think those are going to be the two Toyotas that are going to be going for the win in the Daytona 500. Bubba Wallace came very close to, of course, winning the 2022 Daytona 500 and has come very close to winning it in the past. I think Bubba Wallace has a really good chance, and I think he's going to be the guy who's going to win the Daytona 500. And Denny Hamlin is always a threat to win. He's looking to win his fourth Daytona 500 in 2023. So who's my pick to win the Daytona 500? Well, I think I've already just mentioned it a second ago, but I'm going with Bubba Wallace to win the 2023 Daytona 500. And it has not changed since the beginning of the year. In fact, I've had this pick for a very, very long time because Bubba Wallace is a really solid super speedway racer. He got his first NASCAR Cup Series victory, of course, at a super speedway race in 2021, albeit it was a rain-short win, but still, he was out front. He did what he had to do and got it done. I think Bubba Wallace in the 2311 camp brought a really fast car. He looked really confident, sounded very confident this week, and had a pretty solid duel as well. Was up front in the duel, kind of made a little bit of mistake, kind of fell back a little bit, but he still had a very strong duel number one, and I think that that 23 car is going to be very fast. I also expect, though, for this year and transition away from that, I think it's going to be very similar to last Daytona time we were at Daytona, though the field this year is extremely competitive. I think that this year it's anybody's game. The field has looked very, very competitive. Maybe if you take away the money team, no disrespect to Connor Daly, but it seems like that team's been off. But I think every other team outside of Connor Daly and the money team, even a team like Rickwell Racing, they've been really, really strong. So I think it really is anybody's game this year. I think you're going to see a very good Daytona 500 this year, probably some 2-wide, some 3-wide, and I think it's going to be a very strong race. But I think this year Bubba Wallace picks up his first Daytona 500 victory. I think this is going to be a really great year for him, but I think it's possible that anybody can go out there and win this year's Daytona 500. I think it's going to be a very competitive field, and I expect the 2023 Daytona 500, like I said, to be very, very competitive. Daytona 500 is later today. The 75th NASCAR season officially kicks off the regular season. You're going to have Tony Stewart in the booth along with Clint Boyer and Mike Joy. I would have to imagine we're going to find out who's going to be in the booth next week at Auto Club, and I think you're going to see a very strong race in the 2023 Daytona 500. If you're a fan, tune in. It's exciting. There might be a tiny bit of potential rain for forecast. I don't think there's really a big chance of rain, but keep in mind there's still a 15% chance. And with Florida weather, anything could change, and the weather can change at any given time. Hopefully, though, the weather can stay off so we can have a really strong race and a really good race in this year's Daytona 500. But if there's rain in the forecast, hey, might make the drivers more intense and make us have a really intense and fast-paced race, which will be really, really fun to watch for the fans. I think you're not going to see anybody train. I think it's going to be a really strong run. And at the end of the day, I am 100% pumped up and excited to get the season underway. The Daytona 500 kicks off later today, and I'm super excited for the 2023 Daytona 500. So anyway, that is going to be it for the 2023 Daytona 500 preview. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Notifications on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below for that, and comment below your thoughts below on today's video. How excited are you for the Daytona 500 later today? Let me know in the comments below. Later today on the channel, of course, we are going to be basically having on the channel the review of the 2023 Daytona 500 on this channel. Then tomorrow we'll have a NASCAR news video recapping all the news over the last couple days. And then obviously, of course, there's a lot more content on the way as well. And I am planning to do preview races for every single race that happens. There might be not previews for some races, but for every single NASCAR Cup Series race, I am going to try to release a preview on the channel as we get closer and excited for the Daytona 500. Daytona 500 is today. It's not that far away, and I'm really looking forward to it. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.